CO Halito.
Wow, what's happening? It's Amuchi. What's going on, everybody? You know, we here, we live in the flesh, you heard me, and we also live in the spirit. Ha! How you like that, baby? We live
Shit.
in the spirit as well in the flesh. I'd like to
Yes.
thank everybody from tuning in to the last show of the Gregorian calendar year. This the last show of the Gregorian year, cuz.
Yes. We made it.
And we going out with a bang. Ha! How you like that?
Yes. Y'all have no idea. Once again, he said thank you. I want to say, Wado Yakoki showing him his cheeks. Everybody who tuned in, we appreciate y'all. We have a very special guest, and uh, whoo, this is something, y'all. I have no
Yeah,
words, but
it's something.
I'm gonna pass the talking stick to my cuz. We waiting for our special guest to show up. Um,
She said she in the back. She said she in the back.
is she?
You see her?
Okay. No, I don't see her. Nope, I don't see her.
Hold on, let me make sure. She says she's in. Hold on.
Maybe I need to send her the link again. Um,
She said she got to send you the link again. Cause they asked the
does she, does she want me to send it to her email or her cell phone?
she said, do you want her to send it to your email or to your phone? To her phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, allow the mic and the camera. Okay, she about to send you the link again. All right. Right, cousin Eljaron. Right. Halito Okla. Halito Homaku. Yeah, we just waiting for our guests to come on in.
Yes. There she go. Oh, yes. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. CO, Halito, to everybody out there. So, somebody
Welcome,
got
family,
their,
friends.
it's an echo.
Oh,
So, if somebody got their YouTube playing in the background, please mute it. Thank you.
welcome, family, friends, and foes, and haters.
Yes. Our special guest is in the building. Um, beautiful, beautiful spirit, beautiful warrioress spirit.
Right.
I'm passing the talking stick because I know you want a special reason why you want to do the honors. So I'm gonna let you have it.
Well, it's very special indeed. I actually sought the sister out. You know, um, because it need to be spoken about because most people don't know and most people do, but we need to keep this fire lit and keep this fire going where we can have justice for two clouds,
Justice for two
and the
clouds.
justice will come swiftly. It will come swiftly. Just like I said earlier today, you can unalive the physical, but you can't unalive the spiritual. And that's very powerful. Whoever had anything to do with it, y'all thought y'all got by. But oh boy, like my what you used to say, there's no such thing as a clean crime. You may not get caught then, but you get caught later. You may not get caught in the physical, but you will get caught in the spiritual. Yeah. Yeah, there's no way around it. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. And with no further ado, we bring to you the mother of two clouds, sister, friend, mother, matriarch, Sister Mu.
Peace, Sister Moon.
Peace. How y'all doing? Sego.
Hey, we doing great.
Good, good. Thank you
Peace and
so much
greetings.
for
Peace
having
and
us here.
greetings.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah, we
can
hear
hear
you
you.
loud.
Okay. Thank y'all so much for having us here. Like truly, 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 we thank Creator for this so much. For sure.
Yes, yes,
Nothing but the creator. Nothing but the
yes,
creator. What they fail to realize is that we see as family, as family. And that's what they forgot when they say to all relations. When we say all relations, that means we family. But yet you got people that want to fight and want to do colorism and want to be racism and they want to hate because one is doing the job that they haven't done. Where you're supposed to be proud of your relations.
yes.
We
So,
we our ancestors back then, they say you was family. They didn't say you was a 1/4 of a family or a half of a family or 1/16 of a family or 1/14 of a family. An apple is an apple. An orange is an orange. A grape is a grape. So you gonna say that's 1/4 of that? You know what I'm saying? But once again, I'll turn it over to the matriarchs. I'm gonna get quiet because I'm getting fired up. I'm getting
yes,
fired up on this.
yes.
Wow.
Mu Ansari, who are you? Can you let the people know who you are?
Who am I? I'm a lot of things, I guess. Um, I'm a mom, I'm an artist, writer, poet, nurse, healer, um, um, rebel, revolutionary, born and bred. I'm from North New Jersey. Um, I guess I'll start at the beginning. I am from North New Jersey. I was born into the Nation of Islam. Um, my mom, my mother is Afro. Well, both my parents are Afro Indigenous. I am from the Mohawk people, the Haudenosaunee, Kanyegahaga. From my mom's people, and from my dad, I'm Bahamian and Taino, Lucayan. Um, but I came up like most of us is just African American, which is all good. Um, you know, I don't know. That's just how I came up. North New Jersey is very much like a protest type town. So I just came up with these ideas and realities, which sort of piggybacked on what my mom gave to me. She taught me when I was a little girl that Creator put us here as the original people, and that was that. We never talked about race and stuff in my family. We have like across the board, so far as colors and hair texture and all that stuff. So it just wasn't really a thing in my household. But outside, that was something different. So I just kind of got all that teaching, I guess. Um, I'm trying to figure out who I am as I talk. And this is not the first time the question has been posed to me, but I'm still confused, like, because I'm just a big old hodgepodge of a lot of stuff. But I guess that's the gist of it. I'm a Black, Indigenous, European. My grandma is Irish and German. Um, artist, healer.
Yes, and you also are a mother. And tell us who you are a mother of.
I am, well, I have 4 children, and I brought them up all the same. Muriyd is my firstborn, and you from down there in Louisiana. I was trying to make him down there in New Orleans, but it didn't happen. Came back up to Jersey and didn't happen. But he's my firstborn child. We're extremely close still to this day. Um, we really grew up together. I homeschooled them. A lot of the things that are sort of mainstream nowadays didn't used to be, of course. So the things that we did were pretty much uh, sort of frowned upon, certainly inside the Black community. So, I homeschooled them. I taught two for more than half his life, actually. Um, we were vegan, we didn't vaccinate, we were about sovereignty before we knew that there was a word called sovereignty, which is why he so easily just did the things he did because it was just his life. It's like, oh, that's what y'all call that? Oh, we've been doing that. Okay, I got it. We always had like a food garden and we always did herbs. I used to work in a health food store for years, so he came up around natural healing and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, it's funny. I don't know if I'm moving too far ahead and bringing up, the mother thing and Marie two clouds, but what was I fixing to say? Oh, everything is funny because everything that he became it's just how he was raised. And it was no big deal to us because, it's just your life. You're going along with life. And they're all the things that he actually needed for his mission or for his work. Because y'all know how creative be doing things. You don't be
Right.
knowing why you learning this stuff until later on. And
Right.
so, like, everything, my first husband, we had businesses together. So two grew up in a restaurant business, but he also grew up among the trees. He literally studied trees because my ex-husband, he's an arborist and he has his own business. So two came up since he started the business. Two was about 8, maybe 7 or 8. So he just lived his life among the trees and stuff. So that was natural to him. And again, the healing was natural to him. The fighting was natural to him because, as I said, I'm born and bred revolutionary. So, of course, I put those things into my children. So he always, I took my hero of all time is Fred Hampton. So, and of course, Miss Mamie, that's a whole other thing. Um, so he already had these things in him. And being from where we're from and being, essentially Black Muslims, it's um it's a given. We just raise our children up among the martial arts, and my family, my dad, my mom, everybody were martial artists. So it's just something that, again, was just something that was natural for him to know and to do and to be. And it just so happened that's exactly what they needed up there. So when he went, it was on and popping like that.
Yeah, so you did in your bio for Two Clouds, you had that he was a martial artist. He knew several languages. Can you break down some of the titles and some things that he is known for in this world?
Um. So yeah, he was a martial artist, kickboxer. He boxed. He knew. At last, I remember he knew 14 languages that he can actually communicate in, so fluency. Um, he's just so many things. He was an educator. He's a historian. Again, he was a polyglot with the languages. Um, he was a dad. Is a dad. Um, so far as working within the Indigenous community, he for up there he was the FireKeeper for a while. He of course was water protector. He fought for the land. Um, he served as their secretary at one point. He was on the council. He was just spokesperson. He lectured all around Northeast up here. He spoke at the United Nations for them, like on their behalf. He spoke at historical societies, universities. He actually, when he was murdered, he was about to start translating some like ancient, well, some old books that the Mawa Museum has. He was going to translate them, I think from Muncie, from Dutch or from Muncie. I think it was Muncie into English for them. Um, but of course, this happened, so he was able to do that. He worked with the Land Conservancy of New Jersey as a consultant to them sometimes because he really lived on the land there, and he would just venture and go and look and find things. So, like nobody knew the land like he did, so they would ask him for information to help them survey. So, because he knew where like different waterways were and different trails and like old trails and where villages used to be and stuff like that. Um, he consulted. He acted as a consultant for the Ramapo College, which is no relation to the Ramapo people. Um, he was a student there also. He actually, when he first started there, um, well, first let me say they have a scholarship for Ramapo youth that nobody was using. And so I think maybe one or two other people over the years had used it, but so he wanted to get it reinstated, and so he did. It was hell to get it done, but the man who actually started it, his son, who at the time he was like the dean or the president or somebody, and he like forced them to do this. So, he wanted to open it back up. So, hopefully the kids will be inspired by him going and they get involved. But when he got there, and this is early on, like first semester type, there was a teacher there, a history teacher, who was teaching in her curriculum that the Ramapo people were not really indigenous people, that they were Jackson whites, which would be really the equivalent of nigger, but like from back in the day, nigger, not like now where it won't get you punched in the mouth. But so two, and she was tenured. She had been there for years. He got her butt fired. Okay. So these are the things he was always just doing, fighting for them. He was instrumental while the Dapple pipeline thing was going on. There was actually down in New Jersey, or from Albany, New York, they were trying to run a pipeline from there all the way down to Linden, New Jersey. And also, that pipeline was going to go through one of the Ramapo ancestral burial sites. It's like 1,000 graves there or whatever. And they were actually going to bust through that cemetery. And so Two Clouds was like instrumental and dead in that. He is the reason the land where they found his body, that is the Ramapo religious land, and that was the only piece of land they had when he came there. It's almost 14 acres. When he came there, he came back up there to be sort of reacclimated into the tribe because I think his great grandfather took the family away from there. It's too much drama and racism and stuff, and brought them down to Newark. And so too, wanting to, learn more about his people and be close to his father's people. And with him being a polyglot, he wanted to learn the language. So he went up there to start learning the Munsee language. And at that point is when the tribal chief took him down to that land and told him that, this is your ancestral land and these white people around here, because it's smack dab in the center of a very wealthy mansion community. And right across from that land is like a small, like 2-lane, I guess, street. It's a polo club. And so he said, yeah, these white people, they're trying to take our ancestral land and nobody will help me in the tribe and all this kind of stuff. And, Two grew up, again, a revolutionary, man. And we feel some kind of way. We don't hate white people, but we feel some kind of way about those who try to infringe upon people of color. And so he told him, like, I'll help you. And I remember he called me and he's like, Ma, these people up here trying to take our ancestral land, and we're down in a hood in Newark fighting and killing each other for land, for, blocks and for land that ain't even ours. There's no way I'm going to just sit back and let these people take my people's land. And so, I was like, cool, like, tell me what you want me to do, So it is solely, and every chance, some of the Ramapo might be sick of me saying this, but truth is truth, and I'm going to make sure people know. Two Clouds is the sole reason that they have that land at all, because the tribal chief was literally about to lose that land, literally. So that was the first piece of land that he secured for them. They already had it, but he secured it so that it couldn't be taken. And then by the Polo Club. And so once that happened, again, that was during the Dapple pipeline situation of, South Dakota, and everybody's just hyped up. It was just like, in the air for everybody. You got all these allies trying to rock with him and stuff like that. And so it was just like the perfect time, I think, for these things to happen. And so with Two, they decided to make that land their called Split Rock Sweetwater Prayer Camp. And while the council themselves may have, determined like this is what we need to do to sort of ride this wave to get help, it was from moment one, Two Clouds, who was literally put in as the leader of it, but it was he who kept everything popping and moving and doing what needed to be done, because like nobody, it had been generations, nobody had done anything like that there before. So, because of that, all these people were like coming to protest there and all these sorts of things. But the Polo Club and the town were trying to enforce upon the Ramapo people, like, okay, you want your land back, you got that. But how about this? Y'all ain't gonna be up in there praying. Y'all ain't gonna be up in there having all these people. Only X amount of people can come, and you can't do this and you can't do that. And that right there is a structure. You can't have that up there. You made it to a campground. They were fining them for putting mulch, literally putting mulch on their own land. And when I say fine, they were being fined like $12,500 per day. And so Two Clouds is because of Two, he stayed on the land for 2 whole years. And fought against all that sort of stuff. So these are the sorts of things that he was doing for the Ramapo people. And of course, he went, you know, the tribal chief is the figurehead, but Tu was the one doing all the work behind the scenes. So he was the one doing hours and hours and hours of research. He was the one because a lot of the deeds and stuff were at the tribal office, but I guess nobody like knew anymore. They didn't remember or whatever the case is. But so he got his hands on deeds, on treaties. You know, he went into, you know, the law to find the different statutes and, you know, dot, dot, dot. And it's because of him that they started actually winning back land. Like he was extremely successful in the land back movement for the Ramapo people. So I know when he was here, it was over 100 acres that they either won back in court, the most of it, the vast amount of it. But there were also a couple of, you know, well-meaning people who had fair and square bought the land. They didn't know about all this kind of stuff. But because of Two Clouds, they actually gave some of their own land back to the Ramapo. And some of them would try to give him land, not the tribe, him. But he wouldn't take it because he said, no, it belongs to the people. It needs to go to the people. So that's the type of, you know, guy he was. All the fighting and stuff he did for the people. Tell me if I start going too long, y'all, because, you know.
That's awesome, and that ain't even the half of it. But I did want to show some video so that they can see Two Clouds flowing in his roles in life, Indigenous activists and everything that you said and more. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, let me share this screen.
According to the appeals court for the the state of New Jersey says we are an inherently sovereign American Indian tribe. And being that you live in the Ramapo Mountains,
Okay.
I think you should be subject to our
Going on to
laws.
our resolution 27270 dash.
Oh, we got a public hearing.
Public hearing starting the open.
You're in our jurisdiction.
Public portion.
Hold this on record.
Open space recreation. floodplain,
Look at the trees.
historic
Sorry, at this point, the disruption is
Fund
on meeting.
application.
All I want to say is that according to the appeals court for the
So yeah, that's one. I'm gonna queue up a couple. Can y'all hear it good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now.
All by itself, they had a way to explain it, but not all the rest of the facts that were shown out. So how do you feel about that, knowing that they have threatened people? We've heard of that. And the people are so scared they want to remain anonymous. Obviously, you don't. You want to speak up on this. Are you scared?
You know, anyone can scare me, but no one can intimidate me. You know, and the fact of the matter is, if something were to happen to me, you know, and my life was taken, or not just me, anyone, right? That's okay. They killed our ancestors in the past, and we're still here. So they can kill us, bury us, we're just going to come back stronger anyway.
Maybe all by itself, they had a way to explain it, but not all the rest of the facts that were shown out.
All right, there was another one you sent me.
Nindishimsi ni shakumagwa. Ninonjia hii kasaya kana sha ni wiko ya kake ya teweke. Ni kumati Ramapo wa ni nanadama wandata kwa ni mtana na pewe. My name's Two Clouds. I'm from the Passaic River, the Passaic River Valley, which is Newark, New Jersey. Uh, but now my home, where I live is in Kakeyaktaweke, which is better known as Airmont, New York, or the town of Ramapo in Rockland County. And my clan is, I follow the way of the turtle. The turtle is the ancestor for my people, for my clan. And being the Lenape, I am Lenape, which is more than just being Lenape. But like the word, if you look up, try to find out what Lenape means, you'll see things like real man or human being or something like that. But that's not, it's a really bad translation. Lenape, it comes from, we say Lenape, which comes from three words. Lun, which is the mind or thought. A, which is create. And Bel means he or she comes from. So Lenape means he or she comes from the thought. And it refers to us being created from Kishalamukwe, who is the one from whose thoughts we arise, the creator. And so saying that we are the original people in a generic way is correct, but it's more that we come from the same thing that the wind comes from, the same thing that the sunlight comes from. It all comes from that source, and so do we. And therefore, we can't be controlled or, domesticated or assimilated because we are Lenape. We are of this pure creation from the source. I remember one night I was sitting by the river's edge, and I knew I lost my mind at this point. I was sitting at the river's edge, looking up at the moon, and the way that the moon was just so beautiful, so big and bright, no stars. And the light was reflecting on the water, the shimmers. It was a cool breeze, but not too cool. But it was that nice coolness that would just put you right to sleep. And I'm looking at the moon and I'm crying. I was fed up. I was ready to give up at this point. The people that were being overwhelming. The town of Mawa was just horrific. Police presence, just everything. And I was crying, and I was saying, "Oh, Muhammad, Kalista Kwai, which me wichi yon shonakwa, when shonakwa." I'm saying, "Oh, Grandmother Moon, please help me. I can't do this. Help me with this." Shonakwa, it means like people who came from over the ocean. Like help me. I don't know why, but like. Their hearts, we keep them down. Their hearts with fire, they have fire in their heart. Give them water to put the fire out, and give me strength like a mountain. And I'm just there, and more or less I had pity. I was having pity on myself. And then there's an island right across from the mainland, so it's our acreage. It's the river, then it's an island, which is also a part of our territory, and then it's Lake Henry, the big lake on the other side. And they say that the clouds carry spirits, The fall comes just because it's spirits, And this fog came from around the eastern tip of the island. Stay right over the water. And it's rolling, and if you watch fog, it moves kind of quick, and it's just coming, and it comes around the eastern tip, and it fills up the water in front of me, like the entire river. In a matter of maybe a minute, it was full of fog, and then the fog it starts to roll onto the land. And like I said, I was sitting on the river's edge, and once the fog engulfed me, there was a presence in this fog, and I felt this It felt like a person literally holding me, the same way that you would feel somebody hold you. You know, it wasn't in my head. It wasn't even like a spirit in the way that we think of spirits. This was a hug. And then I heard a voice, and this voice says to me, don't let them get to me. The same way my ancestors didn't let them get to them. You know, wait, and I use this quote still today actually, that no matter how small we may be and how few our number, that we're as strong as the mountains that we come from and we can't be moved.
Wise words from the young warrior. Wise words.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
very
video
powerful.
before that one was very powerful. Where he said, "You may kill our ancestors, you may kill me, but we come back stronger than ever." Indeed, he has, and I'm a living witness. I'm a living witness.
Yes,
In more ways,
yes. Huh. Let me see. Those were some of the ones that you sent me. Um, Now, would you like to share with the people what happened to your powerful warrior son?
In a nutshell, he was too powerful for people's liking. Yes. Um, Too successful. Um, so I'm gonna try not to speak certain names. Um, we are in the process of getting an investigation, but getting arrests. Um, and so there's some things I'll just say. There's some things I won't be able to say right now, but
Right.
mhm.
after, trust and believe, everybody gonna know everything. The truth will come to light. But so yeah, he was he did all those things and more. And he was, working, he was doing work with my people, some of the Mohawks of Akwesasne, as well as, working with the Ramapo and stuff. And actually, I forgot to mention one of the things he did. The Mohawks and the Ramapo have had beef for a very, very long time. And it's because of two that I think it was the summer before this happened actually. It's because of him that a friendship um, treaty was signed between the two tribes. But so he had been in June of that year, 2022, so about a month before, he was attacked and murdered, he had been elected as war chief. And Toot took everything seriously when it came to tribal business, for sure. And he was very, very much by the book. Constitution was the law that his ancestors put into play. And so um, he was just very much about that. And so, you know, um, this guy from Oklahoma, Delaware, who at the time was the head of the CPAIN movement. CPAIN is an acronym meaning corporations posing as indigenous nations, I believe. And so they are hell bent on proving that other than Nabe people who did not move out west or who were not pushed out west, and the ones there in the Midwest, they became federally recognized. And the government won't acknowledge anybody else, no other than Nabes, as federally recognized. And so this the guy who was the head of it at that time, who incidentally was fired, axed from the position because he was causing so much drama with everybody, like online and things like that. But he was also going around saying that he was a hereditary chief, which he is not. And so, they have all that documented online in their minutes. But at the time in June, he sneaked up on Ramapo territory, and the very land where Two Clouds was murdered or was dumped. He went there. He claimed that land belonged to him, and he made like a Facebook Live about it and all that, and took it down because he always puts stuff up and then he takes it down. I don't know what he's scared of, but he took it down. But of course, the Ramapo up there, they were like scared because everybody is like, oh, let me warn everybody in the audience, I cuss. So when I get hyped, I cuss. Hope I don't offend anybody, but it's language. So he came up there and, was did all that, and so the people were afraid, and they didn't really know like what to do about it. Of course, too, he really could just punch the dude in the face, but they ain't really how you can't really do that. If you're, war chief, you got to try to be diplomatic and try to work through things appropriately. So that's what Two tried to do, and so at the end of June, like June 30th. I think June 30th was on a Thursday, so Friday, I guess it was July 1st. He this woman, the Shinnecock woman, told him that she would set up a meeting up there in Mashpee for him with some tribal chiefs up there. So, he was trying to garner support from people who perhaps this dude will listen to. He would want to sit down, have some sort of mediation, and, try to work through this thing, because you can't keep coming up here scaring the elders, scaring the women, scaring the children, threatening people. Like, come on. So, he drove up there. On a normal day is 4 hours between Mahwah and Mashpee. But this was, the July 4th weekend, and, it may have been even worse than that. But he went all the way up there. Turns out there was actually no meeting. So in my estimation, well, I'll leave that out of it. So he went up there and everything. There was no meeting. I'm just giving you the base of it right now, okay? And then we can revisit it however we need to go into it.
We flowing with you.
Okay. So he went up there was no meeting, and so he just kicked back. He was very, very disappointed about it. And it was just more confirmation that he felt like nobody was really with him like that. It was really coming to him that a lot of these people who claim to be Indigenous rights activists and claim to be like for the cause, they're really not. And so I think too, he kind of saw himself as an outsider, because after all the work that he did and all the successes that he did, that incidentally, none of them have had these successes. They may have been, working and doing whatever they've been doing for a long time, longer than he was, but there was no success. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was getting the land. Nobody was, doing all these things. Nobody was bringing respect to the people who had no respect for generations. Like literally, people have been writing dissertations about the Ramapo people for over 100 years, and writing articles and stuff about how they are not only are they not Indigenous, but they have all these extremely disrespectful, terms for them, and, saying they're mongrels and they're, incestuous and all these sorts of things. And it's because of Two Clouds that they now have respect and that they now have a seat at the table. And that's not a doting mother by any means. That is the reality, and it's verifiable. You can look all over the internet and find stuff about this. So he went up there, didn't happen. He just kicked back. He documented his last 2 days on his Instagram. So of course he went and hung out in the woods. And then he went to the Pequot Museum up there, documented about that. And then he drove back down to Jersey Saturday. Now, on the way driving down, he was on the phone with a friend of his. According to the post that friend wrote on Facebook the day after Two Clouds' body was found, he said they were on the phone for 2 hours as he drove down. And that basically Two Clouds wouldn't shut up, telling him that he thought he was going to be murdered. And less than 24 hours later, we can't find him. He's silent, And he had been giddy, that he was going to be able to take his son, who at the time was still 2 years old, that he was going to be able to take him to this children's birthday party. And he was extremely happy about it. It was extremely important to him because the mother had actually not allowed him. Huh?
No, go ahead. It was just a little static. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my grandson's mom wouldn't allow Two Clouds to see his son, nor any of us, none of the family, to see his son. I didn't meet my grandson until the day after Two was found. And then of course she took him back again. But so he had just, for 2 entire years, he wasn't allowed to see his son. And then it had just been that the September before that, he told her, like, enough is enough. I need to see my son. I need to be in my son's life. And, it was, push and pull and everything. But, he told me, like, whatever I need to do, whatever I need to say, I'm going to just do it because I need to be with my son. And so it was, again, extremely important for him. They had, they would go out places here and there, the two of them with the son, because also he said it was very important to him that his son see them have a respectable relationship, So they had like gone to fireworks and stuff like that summer. It was only July, the beginning of July, but so, he did get to spend some time, which I'm extremely grateful to Creator for. But so, and I'm bringing this up because he was supposed to go and see his son. He was only waiting for the call to come to go and pick him up. He and she had been texting back and forth throughout the morning, and he was attentive, answering. And so then he didn't show up. And she couldn't get a hold of him. But, for whatever reason, it went 4 days without her saying anything, like calling to see, like, whatever. But I bring that up to say there have been malicious rumors still, apparently, going around that my son was drunk and that he was in his canoe and then he fell out and he drowned. That is a bunch of bullshit. First of all, Two could have, which he wasn't, but I'm just saying to make a point, he could have been a fall down drunk that drank corn liquor every morning when he rolled out the bed. He wasn't going to do none of that day, because if he would have had as much as a beer or been around somebody who smelled like alcohol like that, she would have been like, that's why you can't see him no more and all this kind of stuff. There ain't no way in hell. Not to mention the fact that who the hell is going to get drunk and you're about to go to a kid's party? It's dumb and it makes no sense. So I just want to put that out there. That's BS. Didn't happen. So yeah, that's what happened. And again, we could not contact him. It was his practice that when he went on long trips, that if he was like going to be in a, you know, rural area or somewhere where you know, he might lose service, he would take screenshots and send me now and again so that I could follow his path. But he always called me when he returned to let me know that he was good. And if anything was ever going to be wrong with his phone, then he would get on social media and inbox me and say, like, you know, I'm good. Something's up with my phone. I get it fixed the next day. But there was none of that. So I already was like, something ain't right here. So I gave him through Sunday. Ain't hear from him. I hit him, you know, like Monday or whatever. Not hear from him. I hit him a couple of days. And it's crazy because it wasn't that he wasn't answering only, it's that I was getting this automated message. You know how they say, like, sorry, but the caller you're trying to reach can't be reached. And it gives the impression like the phone is cut off.
Yes.
But he had just paid his phone bill. So things like that, and I'm like worrying. So, you know, I went to Facebook and I said, like, call your mother. And so, you know, that Wednesday, his son's mom texted my daughter. She didn't hit me up, but she texted my daughter and said, you know, like, have you heard from Muriyd? Because he didn't come to pick up the son. And so I was like, something wrong. Nothing but imprisonment or death was going to keep Two Clouds away from his son. That's a fact. And so to know that I can't get in contact with him, he hasn't phoned to tell me he's back safely, and he didn't pick up his son like 4 days before. So that means he didn't only not pick him up, he didn't contact anybody to say he wasn't going to come, to say why he didn't come, like nothing. You know, and there were other things going on too, because, you know, what they didn't take into account is that he has people who actually he has loving relationships with, and that he would have been in contact with, and that we were expecting certain things from him because he followed patterns and he made promises. And when he made promises, he saw them through. So, you know, we knew all that something was wrong. And, you know, so that was July 3rd, Sunday, July 3rd. And he was found July 6th. Yeah. And so they said that, you know, they pulled him out the water and everything. And everybody just fell into this, oh, there was an accident. But I spoke to the medical examiner, because people like getting all in my business, the family business, doing things that they should not have been doing. Two Clouds has a whole family that he's very close to. So stay over there. But, you know, I got a call on the three-way with the son's mom, with the medical examiner, investigator on the phone. And I told him immediately, my son did not drown accidentally. He was murdered. And I know this because I spoke to him. We always spoke. We spoke several times that week, and we spoke twice, not even 24 hours before he was murdered. And he told me some things that made me believe immediately that it was a murder.
Right.
Right. Now, so I'm going to show some pictures. Are you ready for me to show the pictures? Do you want me to show the pictures first or the Dear Medical Examiner letter?
It's up to you. You can show the pictures first. I will say to people that if you can't If you don't think you can handle what he looked like, then you might want to turn your head. That's for my family who might be watching.
This is what they did to her son. Do y'all see this?
Justice for two clouds.
Justice for
Justice for
two
two clouds.
clouds.
Justice for two clouds. I'ma say this. The slip of the lip done sunk the ship. And just like it was a saying, the dominoes go fall. Y'all men thought y'all got by with it, but y'all didn't. Y'all didn't. Y'all didn't. Y'all didn't. Whoever did this, y'all treated two clouds like Emmett Till. This is not gonna rest on my soul. On my soul. And y'all wondering why he came down south. He came down south for a reason. He came down south for a reason. And we know who the culprits are. We know.
For sure.
We know. Come high to hell or high water. Y'all go pay. If you don't pay in this life, you go pay in the afterlife. You go pay in the afterlife. Oh. Oh. Y'all wrong. Y'all dead wrong. Y'all dead wrong. And I'm highly pissed. I'm highly pissed.
Oh, they're going to pay in this life too.
You're going to pay in both lives.
All lives.
Creator has already let me know. Creator has already let me know that there will be retribution here in this world and in the next. It's done. I already know this. But the Creator don't work in magic or, you know, some poof. You got to do the work, you know.
Yes.
And that's what I've been doing. Y'all know, just with the little bit of things that I've given you, you know, documentation that I have, and, you know, because we know, I know who did it. I know for a certain who did it. The problem becomes that Two Clouds, the police department up there didn't like my son because, again, he ain't take shit from nobody. And so when all those things were going down, when he was fighting for the land, like they would come up in there like 10, 12 cars, you know, police cars strong. And he would tell them, don't step over that fence. This is sovereign land. You're not allowed. You're not coming over here. They couldn't stand him because the Ramapo never spoke to them in such a manner. Like never. When Two came up there, some of them were pissed off at him. They would tell him, go back down there to the lowlands and, you know, tell him you up here causing trouble for us and all this stuff because, you know, they kind of skirmish around white folks. And, you know, they ain't want no trouble. They have, you know, blood memory. And just from their own living up there, they know how white folks get down, or how they get down with people who ain't gonna fight back at least. But, you know, they will call him a Hollywood Indian, and, you know, say that he's not really Indian, and say he's the black guy pretending to be Indian and all that kind of thing.
Even
You
though
know,
he was a tribal member, he was enrolled in a tribe. Break that down. Let the people know.
yeah, he has a tribal card and everything because he was able to prove who he is by lineage. And for what I'm told, a couple of people were telling me that the genealogist up there said that actually Two Clouds is more Ramapo than anybody up there, you know. But, you know, the jealousy and the envy and all that. But from some of the people. But you, so far as the police, they don't care about that. I'm sure they're happy Two Clouds is dead. So they didn't give us, not only did they not do an investigation, they didn't even give us a detective to even pretend they were going to do an investigation. And, you know, that day I called Mawa police department multiple times trying to find out about my son. And they just kept flipping me off to other departments. And they all kept telling me like, oh, we weren't there, that we weren't called out. They didn't have anything to do with us, that it was the state troopers. Because even though that parcel of land is owned by the Ramapo again, because of Two Clouds, but it is connected to the Ramapo River. That's like the bank, but it's connected to the Ramapo River and the Ramapo Reservation, not Indian reservation, reservation as in state park.
Okay.
And so that belongs to the state. And so they had to call out New Jersey state troopers. So they were giving me the runaround, and then they wouldn't give me his stuff. They kept saying they didn't have his stuff. And so it was not until the next week when the trooper who was on the scene, I was able to finally contact him. He had been away on vacation. And first and foremost, I was getting ready to say to him, like, you know, they're saying that my son fell out of his boat and drowned, but that is not true. But he cut me off and he said, no, we don't have any evidence that he fell out of a boat, that it was an accident. He said there was a boat like in the vicinity is what he said. But he said, we don't have any evidence that there was some sort of accident. And so I told him, like, I can't get his stuff. Like, do you have it? And he said, no, they have it in Mawa. They have the case. We don't have it. And so it's only then that he called the officer who was in charge. And then he called me right away and was like, no, we have it here. But they had been giving me a total runaround for days. But the reason why, even though I know who did this, the reason why I can't get anywhere is because I'm really being stonewalled at every turn. And not only with the Bergen County folks, but even with like a lot of these indigenous activists and stuff. Nobody would do anything to help me. Like, I mean, it's been 2.5 years now. So it's very difficult when you don't, it's just me, you know, and a lot of people, I mean, let me rephrase that. There are a handful of people who down with me, like my girl Rose. I hope she didn't mind me to saying her name. She's 10 toes down, as they say. But you know, I do the gist of the work, of course. I'm the one that's on the horn and, you know, researching all these kind of things. But it's very difficult in trying to make massive moves and nobody will help you. All these people who were, oh, Two Clouds, he's so great. You know what I mean? Like, where they at? Where they at? Like, I've contacted hundreds of people. Okay. Nothing. I've contacted, you know, media and stuff. They always wanted to be up in his face when they had, you know, clickbait or what have you. Don't nobody want to help. I hit up these institutions that, you know, he would speak at or who claimed to love him so much, nobody will help. Like nobody. You feel me? And so while I may know who did it and I have proof of who did it, I mean, I can't go and make a citizen's arrest and like throw him in prison myself. So
Right. And that's important that the people know now that you know who did it.
absolutely I do.
Uh,
Because they talk so much.
That's why I say loose lips sink ships.
yes, yes. Oh, it was by divine design.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yes. Yeah, it was by divine design. Did you want me to share the letter of the medical examiner? Did you want to share with them what they said at first and what you overturned?
Mhm. Oh, I also have, I forgot to send these things to you, but I do have them here if you want. I have like the Mawa operations report, which is the document that they did with coming out there to the scene, not an investigative report, just that from when they came to the scene. And it's very interesting because it has on here 10:34 in the morning, and it says that I can read it if you want to, but if you want me
Yeah,
to.
read it.
Yes,
Yeah, you
yes.
can read it.
Yes, you can read it or send it and I can show it on the screen. It's up to you.
Yeah, you can
Um,
send it and she can post it while you read it and they can see the letter while you
but
read it.
this one got my notes and junk on it.
Well, you
Oh
read
well,
it.
you go ahead on and read it then. Go ahead on and read it.
I can send you a clean one later if you want.
Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
So I don't know if you can see, it says 10:34 in here. It says unattended death. And so it says on the above date and time, I was dispatched. So this is coming from the officer. I won't say his name because I don't want them trying to
Right.
hit me up later on. But it says on the above date and time, I was dispatched to the area of Halifax Road for a male party in the river, possibly deceased. Dispatch further advised an O&R truck, that's the electric company up there. An O&R truck would be a point of reference where I could meet the caller. Remember that, to meet the caller, okay? Upon my arrival, I made contact with, I guess I can say these names because they didn't blacken them out. So I made contact with Brian Ahern and Michael Heafy, Orange and Rockland employees. They pointed me to an area alongside the Split Rock Sweetwater Prayer Camp at 95 Halifax Road. I made my way to the river's edge and observed an unknown party floating face down. The party appeared bloated, pale pale/gray, and numerous flies could be seen buzzing around the body. I also observed a capsized canoe approximately 10 feet from the victim. I advised dispatch to have Mawa Fire Department dispatch for a recovery due to the body being about 20 feet from shore. A short time later, Blank, Detective Blank, and Officer Blank arrived on scene. That's 3 people. We began to canvass the area for other parties involved and indicators of who the victim could be. Let me just say, and I've made sure to show this on some videos. It says that they looked around. How's it say? They canvassed the area for other parties involved. He was very clearly very decomposed. I don't know how much of him they say they could see if he was in there face down, but there were flies around him. Means he was there for a minute. But also, it is basically a big park. Just trees. Like, where were you looking behind? Trees? Did you pick up the grass or something like that? What were you looking for? Who do you think was still going to be there waiting for you to come? But I digress. It should be noted, both the canoe and body remained in the same area during the incident, i.e., the water was still. The area in question was attached to the Ramapo River, but did not have a current or significant moving water. The weather today was sunny with temperatures in the 80s. I returned to speak with Michael and Brian to ask them how they came across the body. Brian advised they were working on an electric box on the Polo Club side of the one-lane bridge when they had a break in their work. They began to walk the property of 95 Halifax Road. As they walked the property near the water/brush, they began to notice a foul smell and believed it to be a dead goose. They then noticed the capsized canoe and instantaneously observed the party floating face down just near it. A short time later, a vehicle was located near the property entrance that belonged to a member of the property, identified as Muriyd Williams. While on scene, a male party identified as Charles Brammer, he is part of the HOA there, the Polo Club HOA. Hold on, I lost my space. So identified as Charles Brammer approached me and advised he had observed the kayak capsize for about 2 to 3 days, but didn't think much of it. So he saw the boat, but not a body. He further explained that a party by the name of Two Clouds would always use the kayak in the area near the camp, but wasn't sure of his full name. Mr. Brammer also showed me a picture of the party, who he said, I guess, was Two Clouds, which matched the description of Muriyd Williams. Detective Lieutenant Blank and Detective Sergeant Blank arrived on scene and contacted the BCPO, Bergen County Police police officers, I guess. Detective Blank and Detective Sergeant Blank arrived on scene a short time later. While the fire department set up to deploy divers into the water, Patrol Lieutenant Blank contacted BCI to have them respond to document the scene. Valley ALS also arrived on scene. Valley ALS paramedic Blank and Blank completed a pronouncement on a John Doe under the authority of Dr. Blank from Valley Hospital at 11:52 a.m. Eventually, Mahwah Fire, remember that in time, y'all. Eventually, Mahwah Fire Department, in conjunction with the Lyndhurst Fire Department, deployed divers into the water and recovered the body. The party was brought to shore. I contacted the Bergen County Medical Examiner and advised them of the situation. And the ME Blank name advised he would be responding to the scene. BCME case number blank. BCPO detectives examined the party and determined there appeared to be no foul play. So they just looked over him at the scene. This was not an assessment. These are just detectives looked at him and said, oh, don't look like nothing wrong here. And the fact that he wasn't wearing any shoes, I guess never even seemed out of place. I don't know. Sergeant Blank and Detective Blank of BCI CSU photograph scene. Detective Blank recognized a New Jersey Devil hockey team logo on the party's right forearm, which to his memory possibly matched Mr. Williams from a previous interaction. It was also determined that Mr. Williams had a large scar on the left side of his face, but due to decomposition, his face was not able to be identified. A cell phone was located in the back pocket of the party, as well as a key belonging to the sole vehicle parked on the property as well. Those items were secured by the MPD, so Mahwah Police Department, Detective Bureau. Police Officer Blank obtained names of all parties that responded to the scene to keep a log. In the event the situation is determined to be criminal in nature. The canoe was also brought to shore by MFD, Mahwah, Fire Department. The canoe is described as 16-foot green-colored Mad River canoe. Trooper Blank of the NJSP Marine Services Bureau contacted me to obtain necessary information. On Monday, July 11th, this is when I was finally able to contact the trooper. Trooper Blank contacted me and confirmed the identity of the party was Muriyd Williams. Trooper Gilroy also stated next of kin was inquiring about the personal belongings which we were in possession of. I made contact with Mumtahanah Ansari, mother, and advised her to contact Detective Blake to arrange to retrieve Mr. Williams's belongings. And I contacted Detective Blake and updated him on the situation. So that's
Because of
that.
Christina, can you put up the last comment? Can you tag that last comment? No way, he just drowned. Can you tag that on the screen? You're
Well, that's
absolutely
true.
right. Right.
And so I will get back to that statement in a second. So, but I do want to point out to y'all. So again, 1034 is the time tagged on here. And it says, y'all remember, it says that 2 electric company workers found his body, smelled him, found his body, and called dispatch 911. This is the 911 transcripts. The first call that came in is at 11:52 by the police who were there. Nothing came in from any civilians. And so I specified after I got this information sent to me, which again was no mean feat, but I sent back and I said there was supposed to be a call that came in that day from civilians, like, is this it? Like, do you have that? Was there anything like earlier? And the woman said there was no call. We have no transcript. That's what she told me.
No 911 call, no transcript. The only people that called were the electric company workers.
No, they didn't
Supposed to
call.
be.
No,
Right.
they didn't call.
No. So that's what I'm saying. The report that they did at 1034, they said that 2 people, the electric company workers, found the body and called 911. So they did this at 1034. They wrote this, which means they had to have called even earlier than that. So, but there is no call that came through from any workers, from anybody. The only call, the first call that came in is at 11:52. And let me tell you, by 1:39, they decided to close the case. They closed it. It says 13:39:43. So 1:39 in the afternoon and 43 seconds. Closed. CFS. Closed reason, no report required. So ain't nothing to see here.
How?
Right. So from what I've found in all my research and things I've been doing, that it's like police work 096, that if a dead body is found in or near water, that it is protocol to not assume anything until an investigation has been done. So for them to look at my son's body and determine like that with no assessment done that there's no foul play involved, how do you know?
Right.
It's for them to close it. Right.
And my
And
thing is, from looking at the assessment of the picture, how do you get 3 rip holes in the back of the shirt like somebody was fighting?
Right. And again, where's his shoes? Let's just say let's just say for shits and giggles, right, that he was in a boat, which incidentally, most often always had dirt in the bottom or mud in the bottom, and I mean like caked. So Two wasn't going to get in a boat without any shoes anyway. But for sure, when he's about to take his son to a birthday party, he was going to make sure he looked good. You hear me? So he wasn't going to get in a boat with no shoes on his feet, just some socks. Like, who does that? Who goes canoeing anyway with nothing on their feet? So, like, even just with that itself, you would think they would say, where's damn shoes at? You know, ain't no shoes around here. So what? And let me say too, so they said that, you see, the neighbor said he saw the boat over there flipped over for 2 to 3 days, right? I have a video which is on the YouTube channel, the Beyond Clouds YouTube channel, showing, somebody sent me a video who just happens to be on the land, because it's beautiful land, was there, and just like we do when you out in nature, is recording. When I tell you, Creator is the only one in control, how about she's recording and she's just naturally spanning across? So she is spanning from the shoreline here across. You see the boat, they're flipped over. She spans to the other side and then back again. There's nobody. There's nobody. And so where's the body? Now you could say, oh, maybe it sank to the bottom. That water was low. And it was never very high anyway. He used to wade through the water. It would come up, you know, to like his calf or what have you. It wasn't a whole lot of water. And there's like, you know, rocks and stuff down there. So no. Also, I said I was going to get back to that statement that the person said about him not drowning. The ME report, and I guess we can go into that now. The medical examiner report shows no fluid in his lungs, no fluid in his abdominal cavity, so in his, you know, intestines or anything. Also, there are certain signs of drowning victims. So most often they will have what they call froth. It reminds me of like caulking. You know, sometimes people caulk and they do a terrible job and it'd be like big bubbles like all out of it. It reminds me of that. That comes out of the trachea and out of the nasal passageway. The autopsy report says clearly that his nasal passageway was patent, which means it was clear. Usually when people drown, they have like these small muscles in the back of our neck that they become ruptured because you're like flailing it, you know what I mean? And so like all these different things that are not present, they're not present. But the medical examiner still put the cause of death as the drowning. And aside from that, he also put, again, the lab work show no evidence that he had a heart attack, because that's one of the rumors, and we'll get back to that. But that's one of the rumors that was going around. Two things: that he he was drunk, fell out of his boat and drowned. And then the other thing was that he had a heart attack, fell out of his boat and drowned. The evidence, the science shows that he had no heart attack. Not then and not ever. There was no scarification on his heart. Like there was nothing. But the ME put in parentheses, I think he may have said may have in this part. I'm not sure, I have it here. He said that he had prior history of a heart attack, which is bullshit.
Lie.
And right, so that's what he put there at the cardiology results. And then for the gross findings, hold on. He says, it says, so again, all of this, let me just show y'all so you don't think I'm tripping or lying or something for the people. This here is the portion that has to do with the cardiovascular system and what they found, which is nothing. It says the pericardial sac is unremarkable. That means nothing is wrong with it. It said that the heart rate was normal, which means it wasn't swollen or anything like that to show that he had a heart attack. It was fine. It's no hemorrhagic infarction. It was the normal color it was supposed to be, all of that. So everything here says nothing was wrong with his heart. But then if you can see, again, I have to send this to you. It says, of note, the deceased had a history of, and it has in quotations, prior heart attack. That means he's quoting from somewhere or from something.
From
right?
some hearsay.
Right. And then he puts in parentheses, details unknown. That means,
So,
right.
so how you can make a statement if they have no details to back up the statement?
Right. And this is official documentation, by the way, and it's medical. Again, I'm in medical, and I don't know about other fields of work, but in medical, you can't put down a damn thing. Somebody could tell you that, oh, Mr. So-and-so dropped the penny on the floor. You can't put that in documentation because you didn't see it yourself.
Right. They're
Right.
supposed to put factual information on there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not hearsay and in quotations like allegedly. They're not supposed to do that.
Right. So then he puts for gross findings. So this is supposed to be the summary of everything that he's found. He says, number one, history of prior heart attack, smoking, and being found floating in a river. And so he has marked putrefaction, which means, decomposition, no physical trauma, because they said he was too decomposed for them to really do a thorough investigation. And it says, see toxicology report, spleen with alcohol is 0.124 grams per deciliter. So what that means is, so the way it works is what they find is ethanol. That's what they mean by ethanol. They don't mean vodka or liquor. They mean ethanol. Ethanol can be from either drinking, somebody got pissy drunk, or it can be from decomposition. Because what happens is when our body starts to decompose, the sugars of our body, pretty much like what do you call it? Like with fermentation, it turns to ethanol, or in here they're saying as alcohol. But it doesn't mean that you were drunk. It means this is your body naturally makes this. This is how Creator made it. It's science. So that's what they have here.
What did you say? It was 0. Blah blah blah. So
0.124. Now check this out, because I need to say this because people are still with zero information of any sort. They keep on pushing this rumor, which pisses me off because it's disrespectful of Two Clouds, who again is the sole reason y'all got anything. They have millions of dollars as assets now because of Two Clouds. The very least you could do is respect the man and his death. But let me say to the people, this much 0.124 may seem like not a lot or whatever, or people might just hear alcohol is like, I said he was drunk. No, that much would mean that within an hour, he would have had to throw back 7 to 8 cups of alcohol, which I would tell you again, he was on his way to pick up his son and go to a children's birthday party. But not only that, that much alcohol he wouldn't have been able to drive down to the land. He wouldn't have been able to walk to the freaking car. When you have that much alcohol in your system, your speech is slurred, your vision is messed up, you're stumbling and falling all over the place. There's no way that he can drive a couple of miles from where we know he was, which was the tribal office. We have digital proof. Drive from there down to that land, walk all the way from the entrance to the water, pull the canoe into the water, and there's a step down about a foot that you have to do. You're gonna fall even if you're not drunk. So imagine him going through all of this, and like, why? Because he's literally waiting to go to a party. But he would have to do all that, not to mention get in the boat in the first place. Pissy ass drunk. Not happening. It did not happen. It did not happen. And so, as I told y'all, I reached out to, there is this man. There is this man named, I'm trying to pull it up. There's this man named
While you pulling it up, and while you pulling it up, Christina, can you please zoom in by his picture where they got the words on the side to where they can see what happened when they say what's missing? Can you zoom on that little small part right there that's next to his right side of his face? Because people need to see that. All right. As y'all can see, it said Two Cloud was found dead on July the 6th of 2022 on a land that himself secured for the Ramapo tribe. He was missing an eye, one full ear, one half ear, his lip, and he was wearing no shoes. The medical examiner, right, confirmed he died by drowning, and that's that there was no evidence of suicide, right? Wow.
No evidence of suicide, accident, nor
That's
medical
crazy.
emergency.
That's crazy.
So in this,
can you tell them about the medical, because you read the report, but you got them to overturn that.
yes.
Share that with the people.
I wanted to say real fast, when I laughed, it's not because of anything there. I want to just say real fast, I hope this is okay to say this, but
yes,
homeboy over there, Midwest, he just texted me. So you want me to read what he said on here?
Yes.
He says, so Turtle Gang Midwest, he got mad at me, just to bring the people up to date. He's been hitting me up for almost 2 years, like trying to convince me of this, convince me of that. So Turtle Gang NYC and I, we're cool. So I thought they were cool because Turtle Gang Midwest got started. So I was like, oh, dope, they working it out. Then all of a sudden he sent me something saying that Turtle Gang NYC is fake. He not really Indian and all this kind of stuff. So I kind of got in his ass a little bit because I said, I don't understand why y'all keep trying to say everybody else is not Indian when y'all are clearly mixed race people. And I said, especially his cousin, right? The C-Pain leader dude. I said, he got a whole white mama and his daddy is mixed race. So how, and y'all supposed to be matrilineal. So how you coming for everybody else? So this homeboy, he got pissed off and he was like, you don't know shit and all this kind of stuff because, he real.
Yeah.
Then he blocked me.
He just texted her, so she's about to read it to us.
Right. He blocked me. Thank the Lord, hallelujah. But I guess he apparently watching this right now. So he unblocked me to say this. He says, Sorry, not sorry for texting you. Wait, hold up.
Screenshot it.
No. Wait. Hold on. I'm sorry. This isn't him, by the way. I'm sorry, but he's still an asshole. But hold on. There's some other asshole. I can't tell who it is. I don't even know who this is. I think it's some Ramapo person because they be coming at me too.
Screenshot it.
I don't know who this is.
Screenshot it so you have evidence.
Somebody hit me up saying, sorry, not sorry for texting you, but I tried to help you, but you shut me out based on your own paranoia. You could have someone helping, but your choice to push away. As usual, I plead the fifth based on the time of day. What does that mean?
Well, she has some help. She can always use more.
I don't know who this person is. But anyway, I'm glad I still got that out about Midwest. But anyway, let me get back to this. Sorry for that digression, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So you want me to show what?
No, I was just saying make sure you do a screenshot as evidence.
So you told me to show the medical examiner or something like that.
Yeah, the medical examiner, how you got that decision overturned, how they what they were trying to say at first versus what it is.
Okay. So I tried reaching out to the medical examiner who did the autopsy report, right? And because I asked him, okay, can you tell me? So at this point, I had sent for the actual photos, the scene photos. Now, the only ones I was able to get are the ones after the medical examiner team came. The sheriff's department won't give me the other photos from when they were there. They said I have to have a lawyer do that. They don't give them to civilians. And of course I can't get a lawyer to help. But so they don't, you didn't see it, but on the written report, the autopsy report, they have nothing about his eyes, his ears, or anything like that. They have that there's animal activity, but he specifies that is around the mouth. Well, okay, what happened with the rest of his body then? What's going on with that? So I hit him up and I asked them, through email, a few questions like, why didn't you put that in the autopsy report? It's obviously significant information. I asked him why he put that there was prior history of a heart attack when the scientific findings does not show that at all. I asked him why he put it down as a drowning when the evidence does not show a drowning at all. And I asked him why he put unverified information on an official report. So I was trying to get the documentation, of course, but instead of emailing me back, he called me, and I didn't have a way to record it. But he was like just talking over me and stuff like that. Oh, somebody keeps calling. He kept talking over me, and he's like, I asked him about the rips in his shirt too, because again, I'm trying to get documentation. So I asked him about the rips in his shirt, like, do you think that came from animals, And so he's like, well, like he wasn't giving me factual anything. He's like, well, it could have happened from anything, like with the body, like, maybe moving in the water, maybe it got snagged on, tree limbs or something like that. And he's like, we can't say what happened to, like, why with the eye. He said that the eye was there, that it was just pushed in, that it decomposed. But decomposition comes from dehydration. But also, why would one eye be decomposed and not the other one? That
Right.
doesn't make sense to me,
Yes.
especially
Right.
if he is face down in the water.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Correct.
And then when it came to why he put information that was not verified and that was not found in the science, he says, well, when we say we find things, we can get it from anywhere. It can be from us doing an assessment, or it can be from somebody telling us the information. But like, we didn't find anything, but somebody told me, but I don't know who, is what he said.
By the look
That's
of this
totally
picture,
unprofessional.
yeah, and by the look of this picture, you can see the damaged blood around his eyes in his eye socket. That's still blood. That's a black eye. That's a black eye. You can see that's a black eye.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
That's a black eye. And when people get black eye, that's blood that goes around that area because it's trying to repair itself. That is a black eye, people. That's a black eye. And then he looked the same way how Emmett Till, when they beat Emmett Till, same exact thing when they beat Emmett Till and trying to put Emmett Till in the water to make it seem like he drowned when it was a beating. Anybody that see this video and see this picture, you can see that it's a beating, because guess what? By me being in fights and martial arts and everything, when you get a black eye, that eye closes, right? And then if you stump somebody by the eye, you wind up getting a bulge eye because your eye about to come out your socket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody was born yesterday. Everybody was born yesteryears. So tell that to somebody who know better.
Right.
By me working in the security and me working on the Mississippi River, I got to see many dead bodies that floated up, and there's no way they was eaten. They was swelled up and everything from the water. But this is a beating. That's a beating.
Right.
You can ask anybody in the hood that ever jumped somebody and stumped somebody in the head. I can look at this right now and say the cause of that was trauma to the head. That was the death blow.
Yes, dirty. Yes.
You
So
can tell that to somebody who don't know no better. I get to see many dead people many times. And when I saw his picture, I said, why he looked like Emmett Till? Because Emmett Till was done the same thing.
Right. So, Moo, you got them to overturn and correct things, correct?
Yeah. So, of course, I wasn't getting there with the one who did the autopsy. I reached out to the sheriff's department, just trying my luck, because he's a black guy who prides himself in having, been active in, civil rights and all that kind of thing. So I said, let me just try, at least exhaust, whatever it is, any avenue. He never did contact me. I sent registered mail and everything, no contact, no answer. So I went over everybody's head, and I sent a letter I sent the letter, and I sent copies of the autopsy report to the New Jersey State Chief Medical Examiner. Sent a certified letter. He actually called me back. He called me and he said, because all I gave to him was the report. And I said to him, because now, I'm trying to, okay, how is this going to go? This is just like the introduction, basically. And so I asked him, can you look at this? I believe that the medical examiner who did my son's autopsy put fraudulent information, and that he, this is, wrong, the cause of death. And so he called me back. He's very gracious. He said, from looking at this, I don't really see anything wrong. Maybe from the decomposition, that's why there was no liquid, no fluid. Maybe, again, maybe this, maybe that. And then he says, and he really couldn't swim well. Well, where did he get that information from?
Who told him that? Like, he's being
Oh,
fed information.
we're going to get to this, okay? Bear with me for 1 sec, because I'm going to show y'all something. So he said that, and I said, my son could swim. He said, he could? I said, yeah, he could swim. And so I said, listen, they're saying that he was drunk. They're saying this, they're saying that. It's not true. I said, I have proof. And he said, I listen to families. So tell me. So I gave him a little bit. And he said, well, listen. I said, listen, it's been 2 years. I've been investigating this on my own. And so he says, well, send me what you got. Well, he said, you can send it to the doctor who did the autopsy, who I'm calling complaining about, or I can send it to him. And I said, if you don't mind, I want to send it to you because I don't trust him or Bergen County. And he said, fine. He said, let me tell you, I work for the state. I don't answer to any county. So you don't have to worry about me. Send me what you have, any proof that you have to back up, what you're, challenging my accusations. And he said, I cannot promise you anything. He said, I can't make the police do anything, and I cannot change another medical examiner's findings unless I have evidence, unless you can prove it to me. So I said, I can do that, but I'm gonna let you know now, I got a lot of stuff. So, I took me 3 weeks. I sent him about 85 pieces of evidence, not for me, photographs of my son in canoes by himself. One of them is a photo of him about to get in a whole freaking ocean in a one-man canoe. People who can't swim don't do that.
Right.
So just all kinds of things. I had text messages. I have things from my son that he sent to me directly. Some things because I taught my children to always document everything, especially my sons, because it's going to be your word against some woman someday. Maybe you need to have documentation. So he was in the habit of screenshotting things and sending them to me and sending them to other people who he was affiliated with, who he trusted. If anything ever happened, they would get the information to me. And thankfully, that's what they did. So I have oodles of stuff, child. And people who are involved, even from them, because they were just doing really dumb stuff. Like one of the main guy who, well, I won't say the main guy, but one of the guys who did this, because they're all in this equally as far as I'm concerned. He was doing dumb stuff. For instance, he sent my aunt Gladys, he inboxed her for God knows what reason, telling her that they were getting rid of his stuff like that, because they stole a whole bunch of his things. Not only were his shoes gone, but he always, you see him there, he always wore a turtle necklace that was gone. His, ears were gone, but his earrings are gone. But he was a hunter. So he always had his hunting knife on his side, always. That was gone. He had rings that had spiritual meaning for him that he always wore. They're gone. So I said to them, okay, you can say that his earrings are gone because his ears are gone, or that, because they were saying, he was eaten by an animal. Okay, did the damn animal also take his knife? Did the animal pluck his rings off his fingers? Like, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
y'all, it's been trying. But so I gave all this information to the medical examiner, and sure enough, he canceled out that drowning cause of death. And if you want, I can read it to you, or I
can read
think
it to us.
you have it.
Read it. No, I just have the other letter that someone else sent to the medical examiner.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can read the simple terms.
Yes, we want to hear more.
Okay. So this is from the chief state medical examiner. So he says, I, Alex Zhang, MD, acting chief state medical examiner, have reviewed the autopsy report, investigative reports, toxicology report, and case review letters from mother, and have determined the cause of death to be undetermined and the manner of death to be undetermined. So the initial cause was drowning and the manner was undetermined. So he's saying it's no longer drowning. And so comments. This case was reviewed 1 month ago. Based on the investigation report and autopsy report from Bergen County Medical Examiner, Medical Office, this 30-year-old male was found July 6, 2022, decomposed, floating face down in the Ramapo River at Ramapo Indian Reservation. He had a history of chest pain and chronic anxiety. He went out in his canoe in this area often, but it was stated that the deceased could not swim. His vehicle was located nearby for 3 days. No trauma was identified except for animal activity around the face. Toxicology testing revealed alcohol level of 0.124 grams per 100 milliliters. My initial impression is that the cause of death is drowning and manner of death is accident. Again, he only had the autopsy report. The decedent's mother sent me additional information from her personal investigation. The mother of the decedent indicated that her son was an avid canoeist and that he could swim. She stated her son's chest pain was not from a previous heart attack, but was from anxiety. And she further stated he was unlikely drunk at the time of death. And he has in quote 0 chance, because that's why I told him there was 0 chance. But that her son was likely killed by someone. The alcohol level of 0.124 grams per 100 milliliter is likely due to severe decomposition. The features of drowning cannot be identified. For everybody who wants to still say, yeah. Again, the features of drowning cannot be identified, and the lethal injuries by someone else cannot be fully evaluated due to severe body decomposition. Due to this, it is my opinion that the cause and manner of death be certified as undetermined at this time.
Yeah, see, they call themselves putting him in water, so they thought it would hide the scars, or so he could decompose before they find out what happened exactly.
See,
We
but
just
what
saw
the
the black guy.
But what the dummies didn't understand is dead people can't drown.
Right. So you asked where did he get that information from, the medical examiner? Well, here we go. It gets juicier and juicier. So 2 clouds went missing on Sunday, July 3rd. He was found Wednesday, July 6th. I got no call at all. No, first of all, nobody calls me for I don't know how many hours after they knew to tell me that my son was dead. His son's mother finally texted my daughter, as I said. The tribal chief never called me. So, of course, at this point, I'm immediately pissed off anyway, because I don't know if I could say that part, but I'm immediately pissed off because of a conversation my son and I had just had. Okay. And so I'm enraged. So he hit me next day, Thursday, July 7th. He calls me. I don't want to talk to him. I'm literally leaving out of the funeral home for making arrangements for my son. I don't want to talk to you. So I answer the phone. he sends me a text message with this, to me, very perfunctory, very, common. So sorry for your loss. If there's anything I can ever do for you, don't hesitate, blah, blah, blah. To me, that don't mean nothing to me, because to me, that sounded like somebody that he really doesn't know, and that he doesn't really know me. He had given me praises so many times in the past when my son was down there doing his job, about, oh, you were so great, you raised such a warrior, like nobody around here will help me. Like multiple times I got this from him. Now you hitting me with the, oh, so sorry for your loss, So I'm like, screw him. Not knowing that the very same day he drew this up and had it sent to the medical examiner, not the police department. Bear that in mind, okay? So as you see, there is the Ramapo letterhead.
In the seal, yeah.
Yeah, do you want me to show it on the screen?
The letter?
Yes or no?
You can. Oh, I already made it public a long time ago.
Okay, all right.
So it says by email, and it has the coroner's email address. So it says, Dear Medical Examiner, Chief Perry of the Ramapo Muncie Lenape Nation, a New Jersey state recognized tribe, is requesting a thorough and extensive forensic examination of the body of Muriyd Williams, 2 Clouds, and report on the cause of death. Chief Perry will like this done in accordance with the wishes of Muriyd's mother. I had not spoken to this person. We did not have a conversation. Furthermore, we are Muslim, so under normal circumstances, we would never do an autopsy. Let me tell you what happens at an autopsy. And my apologies, because I know probably most everybody who's watching this has loved ones who had an autopsy. But what they do in autopsy, first they cut your skin here, because the saw won't go through skin. It only goes through bones. They first slice your skin open, then they take this circular saw and they your whole top of your scalp, where it's like a bowl, they take that off. Then they take your brain out, your head. All the smarts that he had, all that information and all the talent for playing the flute and all this, they took that out of my son's head and flopped it down on a cold scale to weigh it. Then they took their fingers and plucked out his eyes through his head. Then they do a wide cut. They take out your heart. They take out your liver, your intestines, everything in there. They weigh it all. When they finish doing their assessment, they take everything that they took out of you, they put it in a bag, and they sit it in your fucking stomach cavity, and they sew you up. And they sew up your eyes, and they sew up your head. This is what happens during autopsy. So fuck no, I wouldn't say to go ahead and do that. And this bastard sent word to the medical examiner telling him that I'm on board with that. And wallah, Creator as my witness, the only reason I agreed to this is because I knew my son was murdered. And even being in that state, Creator, I had people around me who I trust and who could think for me, because all I could keep thinking is whatever they did to murder my son had to be vicious, because he is indeed a warrior. That ain't some cutesy Indian talk I'm doing, or African, or, Mandingo. He could kick ass. 2 Clouds used to, challenge, compete sometimes. 2 Clouds have been in situations multiple times where he got jumped by multiple people at once. Not on little prissy dudes that live up in the mountains, in the woods, and all that kind of thing. Street dudes. He walked away unscathed. Muriyd was thorough, as we used to say. So whatever happened to him, this is before I saw any pictures, before I read any reports. I know my son. So I said, whatever happened to him already, it's enough. I don't want them to do this to my son's body. But thankfully, I had people that said, listen, basically, you're going to have to eat this one, Mom. You need to get it done. And then kudos to the initial medical examiner, investigator, not the one who did the autopsy, the investigator who I spoke to when I was on my way down there. He, because initially I told him, no, I don't want to do that because of what I was just told you I was feeling. And it was him. He would not take no for an answer. Now, in the medical field, you have to be sensitive to people's religions and ethnicities and their cultures and stuff like that. So if, for instance, somebody who is a Jehovah's Witness could be saved by, transfusions or something, and they say, no, it's my religion, you got to leave that alone.
Right.
Just know, but come on, but just none of that. This man would not take no for an answer. He kept saying, like, okay, I just need you to understand that this is your one chance. And he says, like if something happens, like, you might want to have an investigation later, you won't be able to do it.
Mm.
And only because he kept pushing and, I was like, just to kind of appease him, I said, well, let me talk to my spiritual advisor. And he said, you do that and call me first thing in the morning because we really have to get this done. Remember, Two was already out decomposing for 4 days. So he was very, So I did all that. I talked to people and everything. And they're like, babe, you got to do this. Before I could even call that man in the morning, he called me.
Mm.
So big ups to that man for pushing for that. So excuse me, by the way, for getting loud before. So I read the first part, what they wrote in the letter. Mm-hmm. So it goes on to say some facts that the medical examiner should be aware of. Some facts that the medical examiner should be aware of include the following. And again, he said facts. Number one, Muriyd did not know how to swim. Wow. Then he says, as far as I'm aware, so now he's removing himself. So if it's found out, it's like, oh, well, that's what I thought he said. No. Muriyd did not know how to swim. As far as I am aware, Muriyd had no training or experience or instruction in swimming. Again, that is a lie. It's not so. 2, Muriyd had a heart attack late last year. If I remember correctly, it was surprising given his age, but Muriyd told me that he went to the emergency room. Not that he had a heart attack, but that he went to the emergency room. Yeah, because he was having chest pains from anxiety.
Right, there's a difference.
Right. So you see the wordplay going on here.
Yes.
3, Wayne Richmond, a Polo Club resident of the area housing association. His house looks upon the water, looks upon the land in that whole thing. Says Wayne Richmond, a Polo Club resident of the area housing association, called Eileen DeFries, our Ramapo representative for parking issues at the land at 95 Halifax, reporting that Muriyd's car had been there for 3 to 4 days. Eileen DeFries immediately contacted me on Tuesday, July 5th, to confirm that it was Muriyd's car. I assumed Muriyd had parked the car there while out of town. That doesn't make sense to me because Muriyd, Two Clouds already knew there was conflict going on and everything like that. He wasn't the type to just cause trouble for no daggone reason. But here's the thing. The year before, he left his van while he went up to Aquasa's name, and somebody torched the van. He was not going to leave his car for days while he went out of town. And then what was he? Was he flying out of town? Did he have wings? Like, what was happening there? But also, if he was going to leave the car anywhere, it would make 1,000% more sense to leave it up at the tribal office, outside the tribal office, where nobody will have anything to say. Is a parking lot there that's not on the street. Nobody will bother it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So why would he assume like, oh yeah, he probably just left it? I don't believe it. 4. There was a man living in Boston who has a campaign attacking Ramapo. On July 17th, 2022, that man, Daniel Thomas, aka Strongwalker, came to the land with a war club, claiming the entire property as his. Civil and criminal complaints have been filed. Okay, so on the very land where Two Clouds,
Go
did you
ahead.
say?
No, it was static.
Oh, so on the very land where Two Clouds was found, he said Strongwalker came up there. It's supposed to be June 17th, not July, because this was written on July 7th. So he just messed up and put July instead of June. But on June 17th, 2022, Strongwalker was there on the very land where Two Clouds was found dead. The chief is so, according to this, he's so concerned about it that he went and made a civil and criminal complaint at the police station. But he's not contacting the police station right now. He's sending this to the medical examiner. Like, why? So that's number 4. Number 5 says, from 2017 to around 2018, during a time period of conflict with the local housing association, there were reports of violence and intimidation directed towards people on the land, primarily Muriyd. Please find attached copy of a summary of incidents given to Ramapo's lawyers. Given this information, Chief Perry feels that a thorough investigation and report are needed. Respectfully yours, Stephen D. Smith. Stephen D. Smith, and it says advisor, Ramapo Lenape Nation. Stephen D. Smith, for anybody who does not know, is OWL. So again,
why didn't they send that to the police?
Exactly.
Like,
and so right. So the summary that he said was going to be attached, I guess, is there has been on file, and you can find this, you can look it up online, but Two Clouds had filed an affidavit back in like 2018 or so, saying that the neighbors, and I wonder now if it was only the neighbors, but that the neighbors were shooting at him and stuff like that when he was down on the land. They were shooting at him. They were calling him nigger. They were like, this lady would throw her dog poo over the thing at them and tell them to go home and like all this kind of stuff. This one elder couple that lived up there, the husband had a brain aneurysm and died, and the lady was trying to say that Muriyd did voodoo and that made her husband die. Like all this kooky stuff. But the fact remains, you're talking about Strongwalker came up on the land causing trouble, and it prompted you to go and file 2 complaints against him. And you're also talking about the people that live around the land where he was found, that there's something on file about the things that they used to do to him. But you never sent this to the police department. Not only did you not send it to the police department, you never once, not once, tried to help get an investigation. He does not mention Two Clouds in interviews or anything. There's like nothing. And let me say, when you enter onto the property, on the left is the land there, but on the right is the polo club, and all around it are mansions and stuff. There is one way in and one way out. and it's a slim little bridge that is only wide enough for one car at a time. They have prominently displayed signs letting everyone know that you are under 24-hour surveillance. There are 2 cameras on the outside seeing who come in, and it's 2 on the other side seeing who goes out. Nobody asked to see those cameras. They didn't ask to see the cameras. They didn't ask for an investigation. They've done nothing. And I have been running my mouth for nearly 2.5 years. And not one person has come out and say, she crazy, she grieving, she making up lies. They said nothing. It's quiet. You know how back in the day, I used to live in the projects. You know how when you have a roach infestation and you get up in the middle of the night and cut on the light and they like this, like if I don't move, they're not gonna see me. That's what they act like to me. If I don't say anything, maybe she forget about this, she won't see me. Maybe if I stay over here, My son was murdered, period. And they doing a terrible ass job trying to cover it up.
Terrible. Did you want me to show this? You sent this to me, where it says you murdered my son, confronting a murderer, part 1. Did you
Oh,
want me?
sure. Because that'll move us into the other, yeah.
In late November 2022, a mere 4.5 months after the murder of my son.
You can fast forward if you want to. I think it's minute 4:30. I think.
Okay, let's
That's
just
my
4.
intro.
Okay, let's go to 4.
As a community later on, because I would like to know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think he's innocent? Do you think he had anything to do with it? Do you think that he knows something? Or do you think he is being wrongly accused as he says he is? See you soon.
A revolution, this is what comes with it. You have to make that decision. What are you willing to give up? You know, when he would call me, he's going to an access, and he's calling me like, Mom, I might get locked up. I'm like, I got you. I got the money. If anything happens. You know what I'm saying? This is years and years and years of this. Him worrying about his life. Him having nobody stick by him. Like nobody stick by him. When people want to play Indian, and I don't say that to say they're not native. By Indian, I mean putting on your ears, the sage, the smudging, the ancestors, and all this kind of stuff. But when it comes down to do something dirty, ain't nobody down with it. Ain't nobody there for him. And after I was the one convincing him to stay here, he never abandoned the people only because he made a promise to the Creator. Only because of that. Okay? And so when I see somebody come and murder him, yes, that is Pete. When somebody comes and murders my son and then throws him on the shoreline like he ain't nothing but this trash right here, I'm pissed off. And when I see people out here having a potluck, again, I'm not saying it out of disrespect or saying you shouldn't do it. But from a mother's perspective, when I see this, it makes me crazy because I can't tell you how many powwows and women's circles and this and that.
Because I'm feeling like really some kind of way. If you have something to say, period, if you have a story or you have a way, I am trying hard to just not connect dots where Muriyd's mom has connected these dots because I will never know for sure if you've done something and just stand here, like that is not my makeup. So everything in me is I'm telling you, if you have something to say, but I want to give an opportunity because it may be something else, and I don't want to be clouded by anything. But we will not just have accusations and it's just like something sweet is going on. What do you know? What do you know, or what is happening, or what insight do you have that we don't know that you might be able to say? Because we're hearing things, and I'm not even gonna get into the room of it. Do you have anything to say? Because it incenses me if there's something that may have been done, and we're acting like we don't know.
Who's the person speaking to you?
The guy who was just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of my friends. Cause I rounded up some people and we went up there because we knew that the girl was doing a potluck. That's the exact location where Two Clouds was found dead. This is in November. He was just found in January. Again, they wouldn't even be able to be on that land if it wasn't for him. And so she's having a potluck, and it pissed me off. And it's actually maybe a week or two after there was a sort of a coup among the Ramapo where this guy was placed, not elected or anything. The Ramapo literally woke up the next day and was like, "We got a new chief." So he was placed in that Wolf Clan sub chief.
And so you said this was after July is when this potluck happened?
Right. This is in November. So Two was murdered in July. This is in November. And I'm pissed off because, again, y'all, how you up there having a party essentially on the land where your leader, by all accounts, was murdered, and y'all not doing anything about it. And on top of that, these two right there were with him the weekend that he went up there, and we can get into all that after. I'll explain who these two people are.
I know no paperwork. I know no proof for anything. The reason why I say anything is because at the end of the day, this is what the people say to me. Now, me being the person that I am, his brother, his cousin, when I'm doing the things that I'm doing with him and we're interacting, I don't know everything. All right, listen. Here's what happens. Here, let me. Oh, yeah, good. Yeah.
Talk about his mother? Call her name?
Wait, hold on.
I'm his blood cousin.
When did I ever call anybody a name? Hold on.
I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you now. Not disrespect her.
I never disrespected her.
Yo, please don't do that.
Just because I don't answer a question that I don't know the answer. I'm not telling you whether you know the answer. Listen, I'm not telling you. Listen.
Talk about her.
I'm not here for this.
I don't give a fuck what you here for, but you're not here with good intent. I know that. I know that. You're not here with no good intent. No, we all feeling some kind of way. We all feeling some kind of way. You murdered my son. You murdered my son. You murdered my hell no it ain't.
I got in an argument with the elders and they
I don't care. You murdered my son. You a liar, and I got crazy proof on you because you don't know how to shut up. Because you don't know how to shut up.
Because I can't shut up because I'm honest to a fault.
You was a goddamn liar.
Prove it. It's your brother and your cousin. I ask and I get shut out. I get accused of free and almost kicked out of this nation, as well as Keisha.
But what the thing is, what we want to know, do you remember me?
Yeah.
Okay. We want to know what happened.
How do I know?
What
I
happened.
listen.
Because the thing
I
is,
have
a lot
him
of
on
people-
my
a lot of people
GPS
say-
on my phone.
Okay.
He cut me off when we was in
And I just speak to the question. You're over talking the question. Let's go let her finish the question.
What?
Okay. What do you want to know?
What do you mean? What do I want to know? I want to know what happened to him. That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I didn't see him that day or that night.
Okay, so
All right. Because you can look on his phone and
I
you
hear
can
what-
see
I-
that my phone was in and out.
if you go back, let's say we look at Muriyd's Facebook. Let's say Facebook is kind of like a
Pause it right
timeline,
quick. Pause it right
Going
quick.
out,
Pause it right quick. He told on himself, just like Napatu said that he said he just admitted it, and he not said that he told to the elders, and the elders wanted him out the nation.
And he always said so let me say, so when my friend was saying to him, like, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, basically. If you know something, you need to come clean right now.
Right.
When you hear that mumbling that he does initially, that's not the video or anything. He literally did. He was like shook. Because first of all, they didn't expect us that we're gonna come up there and get in his face and all that. But he starts mumbling. But what does he say? I know there ain't no paperwork. There's no proof.
In 4 minutes, that's what he said.
Mm-hmm. He says that. Then he says, when I say you murdered my son, did you notice? He never said, no, I didn't. That's a no-brainer. Somebody said you killed somebody. No, I didn't. What you talking about?
Right.
He didn't say that. He said, what? He said, that's an accusation, he says. He says, I want to know who putting my name in their mouth. That's the stuff he's saying. He never said no. Then also when he said he didn't see two that day or that night, I'll get back to that later on.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
the slip of the lip, them sunk the ship.
Yeah, we met
Mhm.
at
he comes back closer to the 1st of July, right?
I don't know it. I don't know any dates. I could just tell you what happened. in
Around,
that
let's say
timeline.
around the 1st of July, he comes back into the area.
Whatever day Mastery was.
It was like the end of
Yes. Okay. We were supposed to meet Keisha there and Shanae.
So they
I know where you ended up being at.
For what?
Because we were trying to talk with people to get the nations back together.
That was a lie, by the way.
And we also
I asked him that for a reason.
Yeah, because it's like he just threw that out in the air, like a random reason. I peeped that out, and I don't even. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We can't even legislate this. We can't. This is not a. This is not a. We can't legislate from here. Here's what I'm gonna say. We definitely can't. Here's what I'm gonna say. There's not enough time in the day for me to sit down and talk to you. Look, pause for a second. We are looking and actively looking to see what happened, Pete. I don't know anything. I don't know anybody. So I don't know the ins and outs of any of this. What I'm telling you is this. Even stories that I heard and everything, I don't know who's not saying anything and why they're not saying this. Hold up. I don't know.
Stop it.
Hold on.
Pause it. Pause it. You heard what he said? That stories that he heard?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they talking.
Yeah.
So they talking. Why
But they've been
is it
talking
that
about him.
What'd you say, Moo?
But they were talking about him from day one. This dude, he was at the funeral limping. He had like scratches. They were telling me, because I was out of it, of course. But people, of course, had their eyes open. And folks are noticing all these things from day one. And also, when we buried my son, we are still there at the cemetery. They just covered him with dirt. He, not knowing that I got more kids, I guess, he introduces himself to my other son as the new war chief. Not Pete, the new war chief, none of that. The new war chief. And then the idiot, when we ride back up, because my son, when he picked up some family members, so came up after us. So y'all never been on that land before, but when you're going down Halifax Road, after a while you're like, where is this damn place? I don't see it, but you got to keep going. So he sees this guy and asks him, hey, like, is this the place? And he again introduces himself as the new war chief to my son again. So when my son pulls up to park and I come over to him, he's like, Mom, this dude say that he the new war chief. I'm like, what?
Like, already?
Right. And he looked, and they ain't never had no damn war chief before. What you in a hurry to get another one now? This is what I'm thinking. And so my son looks in the side view and he said, that's him right there. I said, really? That's supposed to be Muriyd, dude. So this is how he gets on our radar. And then apparently he's telling everybody and their mama who are listening at the ceremony that he is the new war chief. But when I get in his ass a couple of days later, because he's like coming up the same thing he's doing now, coming up with all the excuses, they put a hit out on me and the other little dude that used to be with them. They put a hit out on us, and they this and they that, and they trying to kick us out the group. So I said, trying to kick us out the tribe. I said, really? So how they trying to kick you out the tribe, but they just made you war chief? He said, no, I'm not the new war chief. Muriyd, because God forbid he learned my son's name. Muriyd is the war chief, but he's not here. So, you know, they didn't tell me I couldn't, and they didn't tell me I could, is what he told me.
So that sounds like he's self-proclaiming this? Is that what?
Well, he don't have to now because they made him the sub-clan, the Wolf Clan sub-chief. So I guess he's feeling like he's somebody now. A little bit closer to kind of trying to, a little bit this much, Summer 2 Cloud maybe, but
wow.
Right.
But why he have on camouflage gear and jacket in the heat of 80 degrees?
Exactly. So that's because first of all, he's a whole ass wannabe. Listen, anybody could tell you he is not smart. I told y'all before, I literally would be surprised if homeboy has finished one book in his entire life. You saw a picture of him, right? He just looks like he's not educated. And he's just one of those, before this happened, he was known for just being like raw. You know how people be like, nigga, what? You know, all this kind of thing, but don't really do nothing. But they can punk people who are like scary. That's what he used to do. He used to like spaz out on everybody, you know, and they were all scared of him. And then after this happened with 2, all of a sudden he's, you know, part of the N Club, and he's being spiritual and all this kind of thing. But at the time, you know, because he rocked with the Mohawks up there. Not all of them, just this particular fraction. And that camouflage thing is their warrior jacket. And so it's just a regular old camouflage, you know, canvas, denim, whatever jacket. And they have a couple of Mohawk patches on it. So of course he walking around like, you know, he's some peacock with his feathers out because he's feeling like he's somebody, you know what I'm saying? So it was him and it was the other dude up there, 84-degree weather.
And my other question is, who is the day that's trying to put a hit out on you? Who is the day?
Nobody. So here's the thing. Again, this is 2 days after the funeral. This is just talk because what he does is he tries, if you ask him something about apples, he gonna start talking about a damn aardvark because he don't want to answer the question about the apple. You ever have somebody cheat on you and you catch them and they talking all the way around the world, but they not answering what the hell you doing over here in his head? Yes. That's him. So that's what he does.
Who was talking in the video? This is who you were talking to in the video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what he's doing now. So that's why he's saying the same thing. I just hear the stories. I was talking to the elders. They were going to kick me out. It's all of these things except what happened. That's what they do. That's what the tribal chief does too, by the way.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a glimpse of it. Did you want me to play the rest of it? We can play the rest of it, and I want you to share about how people can continue to Cloud's mission, how they can help you beyond the clouds, etc. You good with that, Moo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I want to actually touch on a little bit about this guy too.
Okay.
Because he's very significant.
Okay. All right.
All right, finish playing.
All right. And we working with 27%, just so y'all know.
I don't know. I don't. Because I got him on my GPS. Hold on. Because I can tell you when he cut me off and when he cut me back on his GPS. When he was supposed to go meet somebody that said that they didn't meet him, that said that this what happened at the meeting, and I know it's a lie, and you look right in my face and tell me, and then you turn around at his services and tell somebody else something else. Listen. I don't know. Let's talk about it. Listen. Let's talk about it. Hold on. This is what I'm telling you. I don't know about any of that. I hear you. And I feel a way about that. But we feel a way about everything. So understand. Understand what this is what I'm telling you. Understand. We're trying to find out whatever help you can give, you give. Some people involved here, nobody here. It's me specifically. I don't give a shit about any of all of the other stuff going on. And please excuse me, everybody. I will fuck everybody up if it has to be. And I'm not worried about none of that. All of the rest of it, all of that, who's this and that, the title, I'm fucking everybody up. If it finds out it's something untoward. So I pray that that if you can help, that you will, and it's not you, because you were here. I'm just talking about because.
So this is your friend talking to him, correct?
Right.
Right. Just for the people listening.
Yeah, there were about. I was gonna say it was maybe about 6 or 7 of us went up there.
Okay. Yes, and y'all are questioning him, and this is your friend basically getting in his ass. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cut that shit off. Okay.
I don't believe that I don't believe the nation is understanding that this man had a whole other side to his family that you guys don't understand.
I do.
Are gonna as a tidal wave to figure out what happened.
I understand.
Is a wave that's
But just know, and it sucks for you that it comes across that people blaming you. But I hear you know what? I hear you. I don't care. I hear you. I don't care.
I'm fucking blaming him. I'm blaming him.
I don't care if anybody blames it. You want to know why? Because my heart.
Your heart.
My heart knows. I know.
You have a black heart.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Make sure you got everything in order. You got to put the house in order. Because
my house ain't in order. That's the problem.
We want to answer.
All right, well, the police ain't in order. Whoever happened, why I can't get the autopsy? Why I can't get the coroner's report?
Because you're not.
I'm saying I can file for it. I can file for it. I can file a FOIL for it. But my whole thing is like this. I'm pretty sure that y'all did already.
The immediate family has access
So
to
why?
the report, and they can release it to whoever else they want to release it.
I know they can.
Why y'all keep trying to wait?
But at the same time, yes, I should do my due diligence and get it myself. But you want to know what? I'm being attacked.
Why y'all
So
keep
at the end
trying
of the day,
Why
you know
y'all
what?
keep
You
trying to
guys
get the autopsy report?
y'all can do your thing, and guess what? I'm gonna go back home and deal with my shit that I got going on. That's
This
going
your
on
shit
with
that
me.
you got going
That's
on
it.
right here.
But when I'm
Because
being attacked,
you ain't gonna be happy till this is
So You can stop it if you want. This was just kind of us talking among each other afterwards about how he full of crap and stuff like that. But again, so in the beginning, again, nobody was helping, but and they were like all this gaslighting and like, oh, it's your grief. I don't know why you keep behaving this way, whatever. So they would say like, why won't she give us the autopsy report? As if I fucking killed my son myself and I'm trying to hide it from them, And so that's what was pissing me off, because the truth is anybody could have gone and get the autopsy. And as he said, which he immediately contradicted himself, he said, so, but why can't I get the autopsy report? Well, I could get it. Then nigga, go get it then. Why you want to see it though? Because they were freaking losing their minds trying to figure out what we knew, what the police knew. Because this dude, so him, the girl, and his brother is somebody going by the post that my son's friend wrote. They followed him up there, followed two up there to Mashpee. This guy says that two cut off his location because he gave Two Clouds his iPhone not long before this, maybe a month or so before this. And he told me out of his own mouth that he had two on location all the time, at all times, in case something ever happened when they were up at Akwesasne, so they could get at each other to help each other. But he couldn't find two for 4 days, that his location was off for 4 days. So if your sole purpose is to have him on in case something happens, how he missed it for 4 days and your ass didn't go look for him?
Yeah, that's no, it's not adding up. The math ain't mathing.
None of it. And so when I spoke to him that first night, that first evening, like a couple of hours or so after, because I had been trying to get him, and he's like, oh, my phone is messed up and all this kind of thing. So when I finally get him, I lie to you not, he always talking about how he's Tu's cousin, like that's his man, you know what I'm saying? And he loves him and all that. He didn't have any sadness that he exemplified or anything. And this is brand new, right? Everybody devastated. How is Tu dead? I say to him, where were you? Because I knew he was always up under my son. Where were you? Yeah. What happened this weekend? He starts telling me about something that happened the Saturday before. But also, I'm immediately listening because he says, yeah, we went up, we drove up to this girl's house and, like he always with some girl. But yeah, so anyway, so I'm like, what? Saying to myself, so this your friend, I'm his mama, he just found dead. And to me, it sounded like jealousy. But it wasn't some girl. It was Tu's best friend since they were little kids, teenagers, and she has a chronic illness. So they went up there because she just got out the hospital. Tu went up there with a shower chair so that she could sit and take a shower. They went up there. He put it together. She told me herself. He put it together. They left. She told me that dude was with him, which I felt very, Tu don't usually bring people around family. So I found that crazy. And she said it was something about him I didn't like. And so he's saying that to me. Then he keeps asking me. First, he keeps asking me if I'm going to get an autopsy done, right? Then he keeps going on and on about how he just had to bring Tu a body pillow that night because he didn't want him being uncomfortable in his car. Everybody who knows Tu know he's been sleeping in his car. He a rough and rugged dude. He was not a little soft dude. He camped outside on the ground when it was cold as heck outside. It's like frost out and everything. He camping on land. He lay on boulders for his back and stuff like that. And you've been around here for months. You decide this night that you just gotta get him a pillow down to the land. I think that's because he was worried about what those cameras were going to catch. So
Mm.
that was his little excuse that I was down there for that. But the biggest thing that I swear to you, the boy sounded like he was going to cry if I didn't finally agree with him. He kept saying he fell out, he had a heart attack and he fell out of the boat and drowned. And I'm like, I could get lively. I'm like snapping. I'm like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He had a heart attack. And he's like, yes, he did. Yes, he did. That's what happened. He fell out of the boat. He had a heart attack and he drowned. Please, God. Please, God. That's what happened. That's what happened. And I'm like, no, it didn't. Somebody got to him. Somebody murdered my son. And it could only be somebody who could get to him. At the time, I only know about him and another dude. I didn't know about that girl yet. But and so I'm trying to keep level-headed like my friend was doing. Relax, wait till you find out for sure. But I'm saying this to him. And he's like, no. That's what it had to be. It had to be that. Because if somebody did, no, God. He had a heart attack. This is what he's saying.
So he's speculating.
Yeah.
He not only speculating. No. He's not speculating. He's trying to feed this bullshit to me is what he's trying to do. But I'm not biting. Is what's happening. And he's spazzing, he's whirling out of control because I'm not biting. And so he's just like, no, that's what happened. Now let me remind you, he was just with Two Clouds, went up with him to Mash P because of this incident with Strongwalker, who everybody's scared of, but you never mentioned that could be a possibility. To this day, I ain't hear none of that from none of them. Other people would hit me up saying, hey, there's this guy named Strongwalker. I think you should look into him. And of course, he was writing shit on his Facebook page. He did a post with an overturned canoe, writing this long ass passage about, you can't rock the boat and all this kind of thing. So, but that's who this dude is. And not only over the next couple of months or so, I was getting word that he was coming up with all these other excuses. So it was that he had a heart attack and fell out the boat and drowned, or the tribal chief did it, or that somebody Akwesasne did voodoo on Two Clouds and caused them to have a heart attack, fall out the boat, hit his head, fall in the water and drown. Like very detailed.
They saying all these allegations, these alleged fables or what?
Well, because they're not allegations per se, they are him trying to make people look over there, is what it is. So you don't believe that? Well, this might be it. Well, that might be it. Well, that might be it. Then the other dude who used to always be with him, this is what that girl that was there on the land, this right here. If you go back up to that beige looking one that you passed, this is that guy. He wrote this. This is the day of the funeral. He wrote this. It's basically saying like, sometimes you got to do shit to get to where you want to be, basically. And then the same day, she posts this on her Facebook page. And then when the Turtle Clan chief, who is Two Clouds clan chief, and again, none of the chiefs have done anything at all in trying to help with an investigation. But he hits her up, and I think I sent it to you. He hits her up and says, oh, this is the thing from Strongwalker that he put on his page like a day or so, a couple of days after. By the way, if anybody wants to see this whole article, is on our blog, beyond-clouds.org/blog. And this is the what we know, I forget how it goes, but what we know so far, part 3.
Yeah, but the murder of Muriyd Two Clouds Williams. What? Yeah.
So Turtle Clan chief hit her up because he knew that she went up there with them. He hits her up through text and says, what happened up there at the powwow? Well, he says they just pulled Two Clouds out the river and he's been identified. What happened up there at the powwow? And she said, so let me ask you, and I want the audience to think, if somebody hits you up about somebody you're with a lot of the time, you like follow around like a freaking dog in heat or something, but you're always trying to be around them, and you were just with them. And then you don't hear from him. You get the word he's dead. He's been pulled from the river that everybody is familiar with, that land. What is your response going to be? Essentially, this is your friend, or at least your associate.
You're gonna be flipping the
I'll
fuck
be
out.
very
Like,
upset.
you're gonna be sad. You're gonna be raging. You're gonna be what? Like, what? Are you serious? Like,
You know what her response was?
what?
Do they have a police report? That was her response. So he says, like, I don't know, but like, what happened? She never answers him. The next day, the next afternoon, he hits her up again. And he says something to the effect of, look, just say yes or no if something happened. Like we just want to know. And she says, fuck all of you, is what she said.
Wow. I mean, because that article said that they have blood on their hands. That's what.
Right. That's what she put on her Facebook page. And she and he are just like, they seem like, even though they're indigenous, they have like this Indian fetish where they keep talking about this spirit fire. Yeah, come to the spirit fire. We have the spirit fire for 2 clouds. Then she's on her page, like, because she loves all these white allies that, they tend to get. But she's like, if anybody wants to come and talk about stories again about 2 clouds tonight, come to the spirit fire. And so I ended up cussing her out. Plus, she broke into his other car. She chained the canoe up to the tree so nobody could move it, and all this kind of shit. It was like really, really stressful. And I know you can tell I'm still fucking stressing. But so that's the things that was going on. And I know we have to wrap up. So
No, we have
No, we ain't gotta wrap up.
No, excuse me. We do have 19%, but we can still flow. Now I'm showing the beyondtheclouds.org. This is how you can
Beyond Clouds.
beyondclouds.org. Moo, did you want to speak on how people can help and support? And you want to break anything down before you go into that? Any more words off of what we were just talking about before we move to that?
That's enough about that. I don't want to keep going on. I could go. It's so much to it. I could go on for hours.
It's a lot of layers, but it's all
really
documented on her site, beyondclouds.org. Go ahead, Moo.
So you said you want me to talk about his legacy?
His legacy and how people can help or support his organizations, things of that nature.
So I started for him to continue his work. Like that next week, I started Beyond Clouds. We also have Women of Medicine Health Initiative. And there's one more coming. I'll tell y'all about once I formulate it. There's one more coming to sort of, cumulate this whole thing. But we are, pushing forward his mission and expanding it, in fact. So they both focus on red, black, and brown people. And, Beyond Clouds specifies and focuses on youth and elders, with education, with healthcare. And then, of course, the Women of Medicine specifically focuses on women in, all aspects, women and females, period. And we're doing all sorts of things. TWO's mission was, the foundation of it is education. He's an educator, he's a historian. Again, he's a linguist. And so those are some of the things that we are trying to keep going for him here in the States, but abroad also. Wherever we can help, we're helping, basically. And so that's what we're doing with that. We're doing a lot of things. He has an essay. This was something he had worked on that he was really wanted to push. So I actually put in a book form, and that will be up for sale soon. We also have all types of merch, as my niece says. Pie, this is the shirt I told you I knew you were going to be sweating. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And I like the red one you have too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few things, a few designs I did, and we have, buttons with the logo, the two clouds with the number 2 in Arabic. So there's things we're doing with that because revolution costs money. And I have not been looking to the government for anything because I'm kind of from that whole thought process of who funds you runs you type thing. So I haven't gone that route. Basically, everything comes out of my pocket. Um, so with books and stuff, we have a magazine that hopefully, creative willing, the first edition will be out July to commemorate the 3rd year of his transitioning. That's called Niche Clouds. So there's just a lot of things we're doing. There's also, if anybody wants to contribute, you can find the information on the blog because I can't remember the URL off the top. But we have a Build a Well in Mali campaign for him at piousprojects.org. And I believe it's 100% of proceeds go straight to the causes that you donate to. Because Mali has a huge water crisis, as many so-called third world countries do, and not only are we Malinke or Mandinka, people call it, but Two Clouds was a water protector. Water is life. And so that's something that we've had going on for him. It's like $2,500, and we're about halfway through with the fundraising. But quite honestly, I'll be so busy, I'll be forgetting to push it. So that's something if people want to help. I guess if they want to help me like get the publications together and stuff. I used to feed elders every month, but then my pockets got too light. I couldn't do it anymore. But I used to feed elders every month, and this one family, I think it's like 6 children. I used to give food and stuff to them. And it's a lot of little things I do in his name. So if anybody want to like donate $5 here, there, whatever, you can do so. You can send it through my PayPal if you like at something Moo being MU. And then I am on Cash App. I don't remember what that is. I think it might be, I don't know what it is.
Okay, give us the official PayPal again, Moo.
It's something moo@gmail.com. And trust me,
something mu at
Yep.
gmail.com. That's your PayPal handle.
Yeah, that's the PayPal handle. I don't remember about my Cash App, child. I don't remember.
So if y'all want to help her personally.
Question. By the Ramapo being state recognized, what is the tribe is doing to trying to see how this investigation is going to go? Or you have to do everything independently on your own?
They haven't tried to do anything, child. Nothing. So there's like a couple of people, women who love to and who are cool with him. They don't do anything on the front lines or anything, but if they find information, like if they find information, they'll like hit me up with it, stuff like that. But like nobody, and I'm grateful for that. But nobody is trying to do anything. And this is what infuriates me, to be quite honest. It is only because of Two Clouds that they have any respect from outside. I'm telling you. So they have the ability, the tribal chief, the clan chief, 2 of them at least, these indigenous rights groups who knew him personally, and indigenous lawyers and all. Nobody is helping when they can easily get thousands of people to come and help easily. You know, people who put together humongous powwows that have thousands of people and folks coming from all over the country and other countries. You can very easily say, listen, we need your help. Get the word. Like, they don't like anything. They don't share anything. Don't know. Nobody called to see, like, do you need help? You know, have you found out anything? It's none of that. And they can literally get thousands of people. And with the Ramapo themselves, listen, I don't know. I just come from a different place, I guess, that we don't just sit back and let shit happen. Definitely not for the people who died only because they were trying to protect us.
Well, hopefully authorities will see this video. Hopefully some attorneys or lawyers see this video. Because I mean, the evidence is right smack in your face. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or somebody the caliber of Albert Einstein to see that that was a beating and not a drowning.
Yeah.
You know, it, like I
And
said, he
homeboy
looked
ain't do
like
it by himself. But
because
again, I know
see,
he did it. Mm-hmm.
and see, and they wonder why people take justice into their own hands. Because when you're trying to do the right thing and let the right people deal with it, they seem like they don't want to deal with it. You see, they seem like they don't want to deal with it. So, whoever the authorities may be or the law, y'all need to jump on this because it's a murder, and we know it's a murder, and it's also a hate crime. It's a hate crime. It's a
Yes.
hate crime. It's a hate
It's for
crime.
sure. It's for sure hate crime. And I'm gonna say, I think I put it on the blog also in that same article. But the guy Strong Walker has some words to say that he believes the missing up there murdered Two Clouds for him because he's the rightful chief or whatever, and also because Two Clouds is Muslim, is what he said in it. So for sure, again, there are a lot of components to this, and although I've been running my mouth for all this time, y'all know this is just really the tip of the iceberg. Y'all have access. I give y'all access to information that I haven't even mentioned here.
Yeah, I'm
So
trying.
once
You
again,
did show some of that article. Yeah.
to the proper authorities, listen to me and listen to me well. Y'all need to get on this ASAP. Any attorneys, any lawyers, y'all need to get in contact with my people ASAP because y'all know that's why people don't like dealing with y'all because y'all don't do your job. You need to do your job properly. 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 Those tax money that people pay, right? This is just not an ordinary murder. This is a hate crime. And I'm going to keep saying it. It's a hate crime.
Yes.
It's a hate crime. People been all on the internet. Y'all those alphabet people. Y'all know how IP address work. Y'all know how to crack into shit. Do your fucking job. Do your job. Because if you don't do your job, that's the only thing I'm gonna say. And I'll be like Pontius Pilate. I'm gonna wash my hands on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Do your job.
Can you go back to that picture of the water right there? I want to show. So this is where he was found. You see back there, under the beyond, that's actually a bridge. It looks like it's further away than it actually is because of the photograph, but that's the bridge. Do you see how open that is? I think I sent you a couple of pictures showing me from the bridge looking onto it. That whole thing is wide open. Everything is seen from that bridge, and people frequent it, especially when it's nice outside. They frequent it quite often. They walk their dogs, they like hike and all that kind of stuff because you can see everything there. So you tell me that there was a dead body over there for 4 days that nobody saw or smelled in July.
Right. It's hot. It's fucking July.
And these
And look, and you
all
can see that the water not deep. You can see the water
no.
not deep. Look how dry that is right there. You can walk to that.
Right
Look
now,
at that.
that's not the day, but this is how it always is at that season, and that's what I wanted
Right.
to show.
Okay.
That's still water. That's
That's
still
in
water.
July.
And that's
I have
still water.
a video on YouTube me going to the land at different times, and every time that water is still, including when the canoe was in it flipped over. That water is still.
And this is her YouTube channel. Subscribe. Go to her blog. Send something to somethingmoo@gmail.com. Y'all support. She broke down the different causes and she's continuing the mission. Several social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Beyond Clouds. So y'all see it here. And what video did you say, Moo?
I think it's the one that says what really happened to Two Clouds or something.
Is it this one?
No, this is me showing how open the area is and how MyYPD said they searched there looking for the culprits.
Okay.
Like what was there to search? It's nothing but grass and trees. It's probably up somewhere.
And if he drowned, why you looking for corporates? If he drowned.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so I have a lot. It's probably, I think it might be over 100. Some stuff is like political during the election season because I was going hard for the Green Party. But all the other stuff is solely dealing with this.
Somebody trying to cover up somewhere, but guess what? Their behinds is still showing. Y'all ain't cover your ass real good.
Right. Right. And y'all can also see videos of her son, Two Clouds. Yeah, visit her page, subscribe, support her. Support her.
Oh no, they told on themselves already. They told on themselves. That's why I keep on saying the slip of the lip don't sunk the ship. The slip of the lip don't sunk the ship. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
But the sister will need
for
legal funds. If any lawyer was to take the case, hopefully they'll take a case and it won't be that much of an expense. You know what I'm saying? But justice for Two Clouds must and will and shall be given.
When I'm out on this water, it feels like I'm free. I feel like I'm flying in a sense. Like there's nothing that can hold me back. There's nothing that can stop me except for the water itself. And all I have to do is learn the water more, and then I can get across that hurdle. I like to stand up while I'm canoeing just because I like to look under the water. I like to see the fish swimming under and the turtles. I've seen a loon come out of the sky at full speed and dive right underneath the water and come back out the water with a fish. I've seen 2 herons fighting each other over a fish.
I'm gonna pause it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm at 10%. We've been on here 3 hours and 14 minutes. If you like Moo, you always welcome to come back to Southeastern Talking Stick Podcast.
Of
You
course.
are family, so
Me
you are welcome anytime, and we can do a part 2 whenever you say so.
Okay, sounds good.
And so we're gonna close out. Any last words? Because I'm on 10%. Any last words?
Just if people, first of all, thank you everybody for coming and listening. You can always hit me up if you need to say anything. You can hit me up on the YouTube page, or you can find me on Facebook, Beyond Clouds. But also, if you are empathetic to our cause, and if you're empathetic to what has happened to my son, I'm going to ask everyone to link this video to New Jersey FBI on Facebook. They nobody has helped me, as I said. That includes the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, FBI. Like, nobody is helping me. The Ramapo are state recognized, not federally recognized. So they are giving me, again, people are just stonewalling me. And you would think that it shouldn't matter if someone is recognized or not, because we all are human beings. But the fact is, well, all the hell that we go through as African Americans in this country, and we think that it couldn't possibly be worse than that. What we go through as Indigenous people in this country is worse. And we quite literally do not exist as far as they are concerned. And so, it's just very difficult. So I'm hoping that if we flood their Facebook feed with something, that they will at least say, what the hell is going on? And come and look through this video and, will decide to help. I'm going to try again. I'm going to send them a packet for them to hopefully look at. But your help hopefully will benefit us greatly.
And your help would not be in vain.
Right. Yes. Once again, thank you, Moo. Wado Yakoki.
Thank you.
Thank you for everybody tuning in. And we ready whenever you want to come back, whenever you want to share events, projects, whatever. We here for you. So y'all tune in every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. What's up, cuz? You got something to say, Pub?
I'ma hold my tongue.
Okay. All right. So with 9% to go, hey, we'll stay tuned for part 3 whenever Moo is ready. And y'all got an earful, y'all got an eye full. So y'all marinate on everything. Rewind this, replay it, stop and look at some of them screenshots. Go to the blog, support her, somethingmoo@gmail.com. Make sure y'all support. And justice for 2 clouds.
Sure.
Justice.
Yeah, we'll go.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Shukran.
Afwan.